Welcome back, everyone. Today I want to talk a little bit about a card that's kind of got me and a couple of other people a little bent out of shape, and that is Massive Mutant Machine, or as I refer to it sometimes as 3M, because Massive Mutant Machine. It's not as clever as I initially thought it was. So, this card's a problem. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Hermit. It's a 7 difficulty asset, it doesn't have a block. How much of a problem can this one card really be? Tell you, it's got Deflect 3 on it, which it doesn't need. But that's not the problem. The problem is it's missing one very important keyword. Unique. I wholeheartedly believe this card should have been, and still should be, unique. This card commits for 5 speed and 5 damage. If you could ready this, you can do it again. You can have multiple of these out at once. And it can create very overwhelming game states very quickly. So, why is this Massive Mutant Machine such a menace? Well, I will tell you, when I saw this previewed in Louisville, I immediately was very angry. And if you, any viewers here, watch the UK Versus podcast that I'm on every Sunday, we talked about characters that got glow-ups with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I made a point of talking about Massive Mutant Machine with Pumat Soul Magical Proprietor. So anyone who knows me knows I hate this character personally. I'm sure in Critical Role he's well beloved and he's very nice. I hate this character. This character gave me such a bad migraine when I was doing my Critical Role Day 0 builds that I am personally against this character no matter what. What does Pumat do? Pumat says as an enhance, I get to remove one foundation from my stage once per turn to build any asset or backup from my hand. So by removing, say, a committed foundation, I get to build any asset from my hand for free. Which, by the color on Massive Mutant Machine, it is green, which means it is an asset. Pumat Soul gets to build this 7 difficulty asset for free. That's disgusting. He also says response once per turn, discard 1 card. After you play an attack card, so even as a block, choose one. Either the attack gains EX3, your rival commits 2 foundations, or you get to draw 2 cards. I've built 2 different versions of Pumat that we're going to go over the basics of here in a minute. And just being able to constantly stun to my rival by playing an attack, and then free building an asset that's giving me +5/+5 is gross. It is beyond disgusting. So first problem Pumat deck I built was mainly a weapons build, using cards like Pristine Swordplay to ready any asset as a blitz. So if I've committed for +5/+5 with my Massive Mutant Machine, I can ready Massive Mutant Machine. I'm just going to call it 3M to save myself the trouble. So I can, if I've used 3M, I get to ready a 3M. And then give this +5/+5. And then as an enhance, I can sacrifice 3M for an additional 7 damage, turning this 4 difficulty move into a 9 mid 16 without any further help. Sling this as your 3rd attack, that's just 16 damage. That cuts most characters in half, except for like 5 diffs. You can also play it on cards like Thunder Spear Barrage, which I don't own, so I didn't put it in my main build. But this is a great echo that can gain, 5 speed, 5 damage, makes it a 10 high 7. And then you can give it 4 more damage by reducing its speed by 4, making it a 6 high for 11? 6 high for 11 on a 3 diff. I did play Covert Assault because it's got Breaker. And after I block with it, I get to ready 2 foundations, or my rival commits 2 foundations to cancel this ability. And then when I block with it, if I'm Pumat, I can discard a card and say, hey, you're going to commit 2 foundations anyway. So either I get to ready my best 2 defensive foundations, like Moment of Normalcy, or Yelena's Machinations that I've flipped, or maybe a Shobijin's Message I had to commit, and I can ready my best 2 foundations, or you commit an additional 2 foundations. And of course, when you're committing a whole bunch of your rival's foundations on their turn and your turn, Walk the Dog is an automatic 4-diff. It's a 4-diff with stun 1, 6 low 6, 11 low 11 with 1 3M. That draws you a card and has powerful 3. So let's not even talk about Dramatic Slash. This can spend a momentum to build a 3M from your discard pile for free. Momentum not exactly hard to come across when you're dealing damage, or you have cards like Finally Free, which flip for a momentum. So I can Dramatic Slash, spend a momentum, build in a 3M. I can commit it to make this a 9 mid 10. Then I can play a Sword Play. Blitz, ready the 3M, commit it for 5/5, make this a 9/9. Then play another Sword Play. Oh, well, it doesn't. It says it hasn't readied this combat phase, but again, 3M is not unique. Almost every game that I've played as Pumat Soul, I've had at least 2 copies of 3M in my stage by turn 3. Because I've either free built them in from my hand with Pumat, or I've built them in with Dramatic Slash, or I've picked them up from my discard pile with Shocking Entrance, which I can discard a card to add any character or asset from my discard pile to my hand. Or I can pick it up with Strategic Maneuver. So there are so many ways to fetch this back from your discard pile that, you know, people are like, oh, what if you check it? Then you can't build it with Pumat. I have like 6 different ways to pick this card up from my discard pile with Strategic Maneuver, Shocking Entrance, Dramatic Slash free builds it. There's another foundation in the Chaos build that we'll talk about that I didn't put in this build that can just grab it from the discard pile by spending a momentum. So just the ability to, he can build Cape of No Return on your rival's turn, which is amazing. So Pumat stocks high, but the fact that this card is not unique. I played in the other version that we're about to talk about, I got 3 copies of 3M out and was just like, commit for 5/5, commit for 5/5, that attack dealt damage, play a Sword Play, ready one of them, commit for 10/10. I was committing for +10/+10 on almost every attack because I had ways to ready my assets with like Sword Play or to build in more assets. You know, Dramatic Slash, spend a momentum, build one in, remove a momentum, or remove a foundation, build one in. That's 10/10 right there. And that's a lot of stats. Now I know that, you know, people are going to say, well, there's ways to reduce stats, there's, you know, asset hate. Again, I'm not saying that the stats necessarily are the problem. It's the fact that this card is not unique is the problem to me. I think this card should be unique and only have one of in your stage, because getting 2, 3, 4 of these out, it's kind of like the One Punch Deku. If you just let him build his stage, he's gonna pop you. If he plays enough defense, which Pumat can play some good defense, he's just gonna pop you. And with his symbols on air, you've got cards like Cheerleader, Rifle Arm, Moth Monster, Shobijin's Message, Mikasa defeats the female Titan. He's always going to run Moment of Normalcy. You get Yelena's Machinations for a bit of draw and top of deck manipulation. And like I said, most people only run 1 to 2 capes. He can run 3 to 4 capes and just say, hey, I'm just going to keep deleting your attacks so you don't touch me. That's something that I was really good with. But this is only like the first version of Pumat I messed around with on air so that I could use Swordplay. But I thought, you know what, this is kind of cheeky. I also had a one of the readied shot No. There's a Chaos card. Chaos Attuned attack. From Attack on Titan 1. Dangerous Gambit. Blitz ready 1 asset. So there are ways, because it does not say ready 1 asset that has not been readied this combat phase. So, yeah, you can just keep readying your 3Ms. I didn't put it in this one. It would probably go in place of the Thunder Spear Barrages if I wanted to just really push how many times you could ready this. But yeah, it's disgusting. And it gets even worse when you focus on my second Pumat, which I built off of Chaos. And it's a Titan build with City Rampage. Because Pumat Soul doesn't just say build an asset. He can build in 9 Titans for free, which is a first enhance, can lose 3 stamina to double this Titan attack speed or damage. So you want an 18 damage armored Titan rush, and then commit a 3M for 5/5? Make it an 11 mid 23? Who wouldn't want that? Or how about a Colossus Titan attacks, a 20 damage throw that nets you 2 momentum? And of course, you know, you think these are very high difficulty attacks. You get City Rampage on Chaos, and you get Knockdown Blow, which says your next check to play a backup or a shift attack, it's +3, and if you play a shift attack this way, it gets +3 damage. So you play a Colossus, you play a City Rampage, you play a Knockdown Blow on an 8, you check a 5, that's a 7, you commit 1. Then you play something like Colossal Confrontation. This becomes a 7 high 13, and then the 1/1 from City Rampage, and 8 high 14. That if you have 9 Titans, it can be a 16 high 14, or it can become an 8 high 28 before any other modifiers. And this says Ruin 3, so your rival has to sacrifice 3 face down foundations. Build a card from your hand face down, so you get a ready resource back, and you get to search your deck for any card and add it to your hand. You get to free search your 3Ms to then build in with Pumat. And 9 Titans has a defensive ability of -4 damage after an attack is played. So again, talking about how Pumat can play some very good defense with 9 Titans, with Cape. A lot of these have very good block modifiers and Breaker. You can play freaking Titan Grasp, an 8 damage throw that you can double with 9 Titans, so it's a 16 damage throw, and then give it 5/5 with 3M. I played one of these with 3 3Ms on the board, and then I pitched a card to make my rival commit 2 foundations, so they had 3 foundations up after that, and I just dumped 15/15 on this. I made a 16 mid 23 throw. It was the only attack I had in my hand, and I just dunked my rival down. Because when you're putting 5/5 on like a knockdown blow, they kind of have to deal with that. That's 12/12. That's 12 high 12. And then your next thing, like a Colossus Confrontation, is just coming in for harder. Arrow Reinforcement gives all of your attacks 1/1. Just like City Rampage, and you can scout the next card on top of your deck. Name a keyword. You say Titan, all of your attacks have Titan. So you can just, if it's an attack, rip it off the top of your deck. If it's not, if it's like a foundation, a 5 or a 6 check, you know you're checking well. Dawning Horror, this is the foundation I was talking about earlier. Flip, spend a momentum, add an asset or a backup from your discard pile to your hand. Pick up a 3M, pick up a 9 Titans, pick up a Cape. You get to build in with Unusual Behavior, commit flip, build the top card of your deck. Only playable if you have 1 or more assets. That's another free foundation that you can then remove with Pumat to build another asset or backup. Same thing with Titanic Combat. If we take a hit, we can just build in another foundation for free. We've got Horrifying Realization. We have Swallowed by the Abnormals. We can play a lot more 6 checks in a Chaos Pumat that's focused on the Titan build. And it's just, yeah, history's greatest monster for re-readying itself. Finally free to snatch us momentum when we need. This is just gross. Come to think of it, I don't even think we have any use for momentum in this deck. Oh, we have Incredible Display. Hey, you're trying to stop me with responsibilities? I'm going to say no. I'm going to use my Incredible Display to stop you from doing that. This is just... Oh, and we have Dawning Horror. Okay, cool. So this is just ridiculous. And, you know, we're talking about 3M. So let's go back here. Because that's not including Equipment Heist. This is a 5/6 first form action. It says draw a card, discard a card. Card pool your turn. If you have 3 or more attacks in your card pool, search your deck or discard pile for 1 asset and build it. If you're on your 3rd attack, you get to build 3 M's from your deck or discard pile for free. And we saw this in the OCE regional with the Hawks decks. Because Hawks can string out really long because he has all those 1 difficulty attacks. So you can string out, and then your Hawks feathers, if you don't have setting the standard, are a 1 mid 1. With Hawks, they get a +2 damage, so they're a 1 mid 3. But with 3M, they're a 6 mid 8 on a 1 diff. As your 3rd, 4th, 5th attacks, 8 times 4, that's, what, 40? So that means if you've whittled them down and you were able to get all 4 feathers, which there are plenty of ways to do, or even if you recycle feathers, because you have the foundation that can sacrifice itself to pick up a feather from your card pool. And you've got, obviously, airship, military airship, which is an asset that can be built in with Equipment Heist as well. And Pumat can run it. I just don't own any because I'm not fortunate. Still kind of mad about that at the Louisville raffle. But there's so many ways that Hawks can keep repeatedly playing these 1 difficulty attacks that Equipment Heist can just keep building in 3M and just keep busting it up. And I think if they're playing it on order, I think you still get... yeah, you still get swordplay on order. So if you're maining the order symbol, you can still play a swordplay, ready, you know, play a whole bunch of your feathers for your Equipment Heist, and you're obviously not committing foundations because they're a 1 difficulty, and then play a Pristine Swordplay, ready a 3M, and then chuck this 16 damage Pristine Swordplay at your rival, 9 mid 16 at the end of it. All because this stupid card doesn't have unique. Any UVS rules, people for UVS games, please errata this to have unique. I love the card. I love having this high cost asset that gives a whole bunch of speed and damage, and you gotta find a way to make it work. But being able to freely get 3 to 4 of these on the field for very minimal interaction, like Equipment Heist, you just have to play your 3rd attack. You get 1 for free. Pumat is obviously the greatest abuser of this. So let's see what evil characters can run Equipment Heist. Obviously Bishop, and then Bishop can also give a lot more speed. Mega Mutant, I'm not worried about. Superfly. One of my locals built a Superfly with Equipment Heist. Just putting in Equipment Heist after taking some damage, string out a little bit, play a 3M at the end of your string, and just blow stuff up. Not worried about Garrett, not really worried about Jin. Devil Jin. I don't think... Well, Devil Jin could run Equipment Heist. That could be kind of fun. Because you get the draw, and you're obviously wanting to string out. So maybe you could do that on your third attack and just throw even more stats at your rival. I don't see Ghidorah using this. Toga, Nagant. Nagant would be kind of funny, because then you can play a foundation from your stage as a 2 difficulty ranged attack with 3 speed, 3 damage, and then you Equipment Heist, build in a 3M. That's an 8 high 8. So that's pretty ridiculous. And you get a little cancel response here. That's kind of cool. Elder Toguro. Elder Toguro. He can discard 3M to play any attack he wants out of his discard pile. And if he's playing the equipment, he's already played the Equipment Heist, he can then build the 3Ms in for even more damage and speed. That's disgusting. Hiei, I don't see worrying about it. Neither with Karasu. Elder or younger, not really. Dabi, not really. We've seen that Hawks loves Equipment Heist. I don't see Hood dealing with it, although checking a 7 off the top of your deck with this milling a 7 diff off the top of your deck is insane. I don't see Overhaul doing it. Kendo Rappa can string, but he doesn't really. Destroying foundations to get +2 to your checks is nice, especially when you're playing like this pseudo echo package. That's kind of neat. 10 guy, I don't see playing it. Mimic. I think Mimic has better things to do. Shin Nemoto could definitely play it. That'd be kind of neat. Sorry, Mitsutabe. Just ripping people apart. Shigaraki could definitely, because you can make your rival keep making checks, and if they fail, you're drawing a bunch of cards, so you could definitely string out. Flip your foundations to draw 2 cards. No. So, Equipment Heist might not be as bad, except for like people like Hawks and Elder Toguro. I can see really abusing. And then obviously Bishop wants to play the asset package. Superfly could be really cool because he works with schemes. But outside of those guys that really want to do this like long string package, I don't see it really happening. Although a cool thing for like say a Lady Nagant would be, which could also work with Elder Toguro as well, Rando Spirit Gun. Because if you play it as like your second attack and it's preceded by an attack or a face down card, you can use your once per turn abilities on your character twice per turn. So you can get Lady Nagant's form twice per turn, you can get Elder Togoro's form twice per turn, and Rando Spirit Gun says if it gets both a speed and a damage bonus, you can give it +2/+2. So it's a 5/5. 3M makes it a 10/10, and then itself makes it a 12/12. Which is absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I'm a little less worried about the Equipment Heist style as I am just the raw power of the problematic Pumats. This is not good, guys. I don't think this is these are the same deck. There we go. This is just dangerous. And again, maybe it is just Pumat, maybe Equipment Heist Hawks. Maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion. But I will also say I rang the bell with Falling Titans, and even some people who know Falling Titans is good, they're like, well, maybe it slows down because it's a 6 diff now. And we're already seeing the issues with like Hanji and Zeke and how that can be pretty rough. So I'm going to call it now. I think Massive Mutant Machine needs Unique. But if you think I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me in the comments. It's engagement either way. But yeah, and this is after playing a couple versions of Pumat around Massive Mutant Machine, and seeing just the levels of raw power you can dish out. I only had 2 foundations, and in one turn, I knocked Godzilla down from full health to 1 health as Pumat Soul on 2 foundations. Gross. Just it was stunning. The power I was able to just throw down, and yeah, I don't think that's great. Yeah, but who knows? Maybe I'm out of pocket. Maybe this isn't such a big deal. Maybe Pumat's just niche, and maybe he'll like just putz around a little bit. But I honestly think this can be a very explosive problem. Like I said, especially a Titan Shift build that is just throwing so much raw stats, boosted by so much raw stats. And then with the raw stats and defensive cards like 9 Titan, I think this could be a perfect storm of detrimental proportions. But, again, who's to say? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm being a little histrionic here. But I don't think so. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is it a Pumat Soul problem? Is it a Massive Mutant Machine needs to be a unique problem? Is it not a problem at all? Who knows? As with everything, there's obviously counterplay. You've got cards like Hacker Extraordinaire. You've got cards that can destroy assets. I don't know. Maybe I'm just freaking out for no reason. But I just think this is something that needs to be addressed, and who knows, maybe I can inspire other people to build 3M Pumats and just hurt people's feelings left and right until this can be addressed. And if that's the best I can hope for, that's the best I can hope for. So, until next time, guys, take care and watch out for Massive Mutant Machines.